morning, guys, and happy meal prep Sunday. Thank you for joining me for another meal prep video. We've got a couple of good recipes today. They are both repeat meals, but they are both delicious and fairly easy to make. And by the way, I hope that y'all had a lovely Christmas. Yesterday was Christmas Day. I'm sure that a lot of y'all are probably hanging out in the house today, opening toys and putting things together and all of that good stuff. Luckily, we don't have to worry about that very much. We are just doing our normal meal prep and everything, I'm sure, December 26th, because we always meal prep on Sunday regardless of whatever's going on, so that we are prepared for the week. But I hope that y'all had a great Christmas with your friends and family, and even if you were by yourself or whatever. So moving on, for today's meals, we are going to make the Skinnytaste Ground Turkey Skillet with zucchini, corn, black beans, and tomato. This one I have made a couple of times before. It is super delicious, has lots of veggies, very filling, all of that good stuff. I make it with 99% lean ground turkey. Her recipe calls for 93%. Don't be afraid to make whatever changes. The way that I make it, it comes out to, I think, it's going to be 0 points, because the last time I made it I even used like the little canned jalapenos, but this time I just got a fresh one and Charlie has diced it up for me and all of that stuff. So for me personally, because corn is free, black beans are 0 for me, all of that stuff, the 99% lean ground turkey, all of that is 0 points for me. So I will leave, of course, this recipe linked down below, along with the recipe from my app for y'all to import into your Weight Watchers app. Along with that, I am going to make the seasoned rice from Recipe Zaz, which I have made this several times. I mean, basically it's just regular rice seasoned with some black pepper and a little bit of poultry seasoning, some chicken broth, but I highly suggest it. It is actually really good, and it's surprising just putting that pepper in there how much more flavor it gives the rice, because before I would just make it plain and then we would just let, you know, whatever we put on there kind of give it its flavor, but this really like kicks it up a notch with the pepper. And then for our other meal, we are going to have chicken fajitas. I will use one of those Frontera Fajita packet things on my chicken. Charlie's already diced up the chicken. We got some bell peppers ready to go. Along with that, I'm going to make the cauliflower rice, the Spanish cauliflower rice, and that's just with the rotel, ground cumin, chili powder, all of that good stuff. You know how I love that. And then for dessert today, we are going to make the sugar-free chocolate cake with the Diet Dr. Pepper and make it into 12 muffins. And I think those come out to 2 to 3 points each. I can't really remember. I have that recipe already saved in my app, so it's literally a sugar-free cake mix and a Diet Dr. Pepper. So we'll mix that up together and make 12 muffins. So that is what is on the agenda for the day. If you are new here and you haven't yet subscribed, click that subscribe button down below and that notification bell, and also like this video. It really helps out my channel. And also follow me over on Instagram. I will leave my Instagram handle here on the screen for you as well. And then also, I have a really great Facebook group. It is called Finding Our Way. This is the icon to the group. There is a direct link down in the description box to that Facebook group, so highly recommend that you join it. I co-admin that with Roy from Recipes with Roy and Bree with Balancing Life with Bree. And with all of that being said, one other thing, also be sure to check the description box. All of the links and or recipes will be typed out down there, and I will have the links to my Weight Watchers app. I love being able to share recipes that way so that y'all can just import it. I think that you just import it, save it to your favorites, and then you'll be able to modify it to meet your needs or whatever. So with all of that, okay, my battery literally died right as I was fixing to say, let's roll into the video. So now let's roll into the video. Hopefully it got everything else. If not, then I apologize, but we're gonna move on. All right, guys, we are getting a super late start today. It is already almost 12 o'clock. We slept in until nearly 10. So definitely going to be filming late tonight, but that is okay. That is the beauty of not having to get up and go to work on Monday. Although I am still trying to get up early, and I am going to be getting up earlier, but I will talk about that more in my vlog videos. Nico, don't bother the food. Be a good boy. You'll be a good boy. Nico, say good morning to everybody. Alright guys, so we have the chicken fajitas that we are going to make today and the turkey skillet bowl, and then I do have some fruit and stuff to prep. Because for my lunches, I'm going to kind of do probably pizzas 2 or 3 days, which I love to have fruit with that. So For peppers, we have a lot. So 3 or 4 of them we are going to dice up for my peppers. I am completely out. So I'm probably, let's see here, I've got what, 6, 10 peppers all together. So I'll probably do like 2 greens and maybe a red and a yellow for my breakfast. And then we'll slice the rest of them up for the fajitas. I have this kind of sad looking little cilantro here. It doesn't really look that pretty, but that will be fine. I will, Charlie won't do anything with this one because this is for the turkey skillet bowl. I can't remember how much I have to have for it, but I'll basically just pluck off however much I need. But yeah, she's looking a little sad. It didn't look this sad when we bought it on Friday. That turkey skillet bowl also calls for a diced jalapeno, so I'm going to have Charlie dice this up and probably take out some of the seeds so that it's not too spicy. I like spicy stuff, but you know, I don't want to overdo it. And then it also calls for a couple of zucchini diced up and a tomato diced up. So that's what all of this is for. And then the rest of my fruit for the week, I got 2 pineapples. They did not have any cantaloupe, so I actually picked me up some strawberries. I'm unsure, or I guess that if I don't do anything with them and just wash them as I eat them, that they may stay fresh longer. I hate the idea of having to do that, but it won't take but like just a couple of minutes since I'm here during the week to rinse off, you know, however many I want to eat and just cut the ends off of them and they will be good to go. So we'll see if we end up doing anything with these or not. I may get Charlie to go ahead and cut the stems off and trim them up and maybe just not wash them until I get ready to eat them. We'll see. And then, of course, I will go ahead and wash my blueberries in the vinegar water as usual. A lot of people ask about that. They do not taste like vinegar. But if I have anything like blueberries, grapes, stuff like that, I mean, the vinegar really gets the dirt off of it. And you can really tell a difference. And I actually think it helps keep them fresher longer as well. And then we have the chicken for the chicken fajitas. Charlie will probably dice up 3 of these chicken breasts. And then we will freeze the other 2. And then I have the 2 pineapples. I don't know if I said that or not. So this is all of Charlie's prep that he has for the day. Really, today's meal prep should not be that long, I don't think. So with all that being said, I need to jump in the shower and try to get ready as quickly as possible so that I can start cooking. And we will roll right into Charlie's prep now.
You got that something, baby, that I can go without, just like a poison in me. You're all that I'm about, loving the highs, don't mind the lows. It's getting out of my control. I want that something, baby, 'cause I can go without. Mama used to tell me love ain't right if it away from you. Papa used to tell me love should never drive you crazy, but I lose my mind if you don't get his soothe. I'm addicted to your love, to your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough. I'm a sucker for your love, for your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough. You can end it, say it's over, but I'm never going sober. I'm addicted to your love, to your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough of your love. Warm hands, but there's something cold in the way you are. The things you said had me going good, but it left a scar. You invite me and then you turn me down. Get my hopes up and then you're gone. I fall for every word that you say to me. So hard, being drawn to you so easily. I am stuck in a loop of chemicals. What's the point of this? But I don't wanna be alone. I keep looking at my phone, but you never call me. And then I see you on the street, said your heart just skipped a beat, and that you miss me. It's always the same story with you, but I just cannot refuse you. I'm sad after this time that I'm out, that you leave me with this rush. Why am I so curious? So curious, so curious. So curious, so curious. Your friends have told me just to give you time. Weekends are passing by like everything is fine. I know this is so delusional. I have lost my grip.
Alrighty guys, here is my fruit and peppers ready for the week. Again, I am not dividing anything out into individual containers. I will just take out whatever I need. That is the beauty of being at home. So I have pineapple, blueberries, and strawberries. They're just actually cut, but not washed yet. Somebody said that if you wash them, then they will go bad quicker. So we decided just to leave them in the container. Charlie went ahead and like sliced them in half and cut the ends off. So all I have to do basically is just wash them whenever I eat them. So we'll see how that works out this week. I typically don't like to buy a lot of strawberries just because they do not seem to last very long. Hopefully will work good. And then here are my diced peppers for my pizzas and my eggs for the week. So again, I'm not making my breakfast or anything today. I've just been making that fresh every day, which is great. And yes, I'm going to put this away and we are going to get started on the chicken enchiladas and the Spanish cauliflower rice. We are ready to get started on the chicken fajitas with the Spanish cauliflower rice. So I have a whole big plate of beautiful bell peppers that Charlie has sliced up for me. I am going to put those in a skillet by themselves just so that they can soften up. We're going to cook the chicken by itself in a skillet. We're just going to season it up with salt and pepper, which is over here. Hopefully Charlie refilled me. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, we got salt. The salt was empty. So we are just going to season this up. Salt and pepper, chili powder, ground cumin, some fajita seasoning, which I have 2 fajita seasonings out here because actually we'll put this on the bell peppers and in the cauliflower rice as well. And then Frontera Fajita Skillet Sauce is what really makes the chicken good. We will kind of put that on at the end after the chicken is done cooking, and then we will combine the chicken and the peppers. It is delicious and it comes out to I think 1 point per serving. And then the cauliflower rice. So I bought 2 of the cauliflower rice medleys, the Green Giant, but I didn't realize that we had these in the freezer in the garage, and so they are like hard as rock. Charlie and I have tried to break them up, but they need to be used up. And then there's just a little bit left in this bag, so I'm going to go ahead and use all 3 bags of these just to try to use up what's in my freezer. And normally I always just use 1 can of fire roasted and 1 can of original Rotel, and then I basically season it up with all of these seasonings as well, and that's good. If it seems like it needs more than 2 cans of Rotel, since I'm using 3 bags, then I will add another one. But I don't think it will. I think it will be fine. So we are just going to go with that for now. But yeah, that's the plan. So I'm going to go ahead and get the peppers going because they actually take the longest to kind of soften up. and then we will get the chicken and the cauliflower rice going too. So anywho, let's get to it. Alright, so first of all, we are going to get started on the chicken fajitas. I have them over here, or I'm going to put them here in this pan. I'm just going to spray it good with the olive oil spray. And then we're going to go in with the peppers. And then I'm just going to season this up with a little bit of salt, a couple of pinches of salt, and a little pepper. And then just some of the fajita seasoning as well. And then I'm just going to give that a little stir, and we're going to put the lid on it and let these get softened up. I don't like them too soft, but I don't want them crunchy either. Okay, for the chicken, I want to get that started. So I'm going to season the chicken on this side with salt and pepper. And we're going to put it in the skillet, and then we'll season the other side as well. I need to spray too. And I did a quick wash of my hands, even though I didn't touch the chicken, just in case. I hate raw chicken. But now we are going to go ahead and do some more salt and pepper on this side. And it'll take a few minutes to start cooking. So I'm just going to kind of spread that around a little bit. We'll add the other seasonings here in a minute. I'm going to let it kind of get started cooking first. We're going to go ahead and get the riced cauliflower. This is one of the recipes. I actually think it's fairly easy to make because I kind of do all three of them at the same time. So this takes a little bit of time as well to de-thaw. And again, I do recommend trying to break up your cauliflower before you put it in there, or else it's like in one hard clump. And this may still have some clumps because this has been in the garage for a bit in the freezer out there. That's why we're going to use it up today. So basically, I'm just going to salt and pepper it and put the lid on and let this soften up, and then we'll add everything else in as well. That might take the 3 cans of Rotel. That's quite a bit of cauliflower. We'll see. Just going to let that soften up and work on the chicken. So let's check on our peppers. Okay, yeah, we're getting hot in there now. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Again, I don't want these to overcook. They just need to be soft, and then basically I'll add the chicken into probably this pan because it's bigger than the one the chicken's in. So chicken's coming along nicely. I'm going to go ahead and start adding in some of my other seasonings. So we're going to do the fajita seasoning, and I do like this brand, Badia. I don't know if that will focus or not, but I have 2 or 3 of these because I used to make the fajitas all the time, but it's been a minute since I've made them. And then of course I'm going to add chili powder and ground cumin. And I may add a little bit more of the fajita seasoning. We'll see. Of course I am going to add the Frontera sauce as well. And check my cauliflower, see if it's getting hot. Okay, it is. Basically what I want it to do is to soften up, and then we will add in the Rotel and the other seasonings. And shoo, it smells like cauliflower right now. But once you season it up good and add in the Rotel, you cannot tell that it's cauliflower. That needs a few more minutes. Basically, I will cook the chicken until it's kind of crispy on the outside edges. Like right now, it's looking semi-done because it's not pink anymore, or most of it isn't. But for me and my well-done likeness, I'm going to wait until like most of that water cooks out of there and it kind of starts to sear on each side of it. And sometimes if the water doesn't cook out, I will drain some of that liquid off. Okay, so actually that cauliflower is feeling softened up now. I'm going to get my Rotel open, and we are going to get this seasoned up because it takes a little while for the liquid to cook out of the cauliflower also. Okay, so I'm going to go in with 1 can of original Rotel into the cauliflower and 1 can of the fire roasted Rotel. Of course, if you don't want it that spicy, then you can use mild or just original or whatever. Actually, I think I am going to go ahead and add 1 more can of Rotel because it's not really covering up the rice that much. So I'm just adding 1 more can of original Rotel. I think that's the only one I had left. So now we should be good. It's just so much rice in there. And now we're going to season it up with the fajita seasoning. And yes, I use a lot of seasoning, so season to your taste. And then I'm going to go in with the chili powder and the ground cumin. So basically, once you get the cauliflower seasoned the way you want and all the rotel in there, it's just going to cook until all of the liquid dissipates, and then it will literally look like rice. So it just kind of has to cook down for a little while. Hopefully that is seasoned up well enough. I will give it a taste test at some point to see if it needs any more chili powder or ground cumin or fajita seasoning. If I overdid it, you can't take it out. So then we just have it extra spicy. Let's check on these peppers, and then we're going to work on this chicken again. So the peppers are coming along nicely. I'm just going to go ahead and take the lid off. I've kind of turned them down low just because I don't want them to get too mushy. I'm sorry if all of the cooking is loud, but it is what it is. So chicken is cooking nicely. The water is starting to evaporate, if you can see that, which is what I want. I want it to kind of start sticking to the skillet a little bit and kind of browning it up good. Probably going to do a little bit more fajita seasoning on it. So the chicken is looking perfect to me now. I'm going to go ahead and add in almost all of this fajita skillet sauce. We'll save a little bit and put on top once we add it in with the peppers. And it does take quite a while for the cauliflower to kind of cook down. So this chicken is looking great. So I just turned off the peppers. I'm going to move those over here just because this side has a better burner. And we are going to add the chicken into the peppers. There's no way to gracefully do this. Okay, so we're just going to mix the chicken in here, and we are going to go ahead and add in the rest of the Frontera sauce. And I'm just going to turn the temperature down, and we're going to let that simmer for a few minutes, and it will be done. Stir it up good, and I promise y'all these are so good. It is so worth it for 1 point, or for me it's a point. And then the cauliflower rice I think is a 0, and then I love to eat my baked Tostitos with this. I just like to scoop it and eat it. It's delicious. Ooh, that's hot. Okay, I tried that. It's good and spicy. That tastes good. I didn't need to put anything else in it. It leaves that little after kick, which is what we like. I have made it too spicy before though. If you get the rotel with the habanero peppers in it, woo, those are spicy. And that's actually cooking down pretty good too. So I'm just going to let both of these things simmer for like 5 more minutes, and we will be ready to plate up. Alright, we have the chicken fajitas done. We also have the cauliflower rice done. We are going to plate them up. What I'm going to do is put the chicken fajitas in the larger side of these containers, and then the cauliflower rice in the smaller side. I'm just going to eyeball it. This is such a low point meal, in my opinion. It is not necessary to try to weigh it out, but of course you can weigh it, divide it by 6 or however many portions you're making, and divide it that way. But usually stuff like this, I'm just going to eyeball. So let me get this divided into the 6, and then we will do the cauliflower rice, and this meal will be done.
There's no need to complicate things. Let's stick to the basics. We both know what we want. Let's just keep it simple. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. We dance on the same wavelength. This feels like a new beginning. We both know what we want. Let's just.
Okay, so I got the chicken fajitas divided. Now we are just going to divide out the cauliflower rice, and then this meal will be done. Actually, this is an extremely easy meal prep. If you're new to meal prepping, I would highly suggest starting with something like this, because I mean there are a few little components to it, but overall I think this one's very easy.
So won't you let me trip with you? Leaning out for you, leave us till tomorrow. So won't you let me trip with you? Leaning out for you, leave us till tomorrow. So won't you let me? So won't you let me? So won't you let me? I dream that if I can hold you close, you can be my.
Alrighty, here are the completed chicken fajitas with a good heaping portion of the Spanish cauliflower rice, since I tried to use up all of that old cauliflower rice. but it is looking, smelling delicious. I have tasted both the chicken fajitas and the cauliflower rice, and they are both delicious and nice and spicy like we like it. So now we are going to go ahead and make the chocolate muffins and get those in the oven so that those can be cooking while we are working on the turkey skillet bowl. So let me get everything ready for that and get this put away. Nico is fixing to jump up here. No, sir. Let me get this put away and get the cake mix and the Diet Dr. Pepper out, and we will get that mixed up and in the oven in no time. Alright guys, we are moving right along today. So before we do the Ground Turkey Skillet Bowl, like I said, we're going to go ahead and make these chocolate muffins. All you need is 2 ingredients: a sugar-free chocolate fudge, a sugar-free devil's food cake. Now this chocolate one is hard to find in the stores, so I can usually always find the yellow one that I used to make the Hannah banana bread with, but sometimes this devil's food one is hard to find. You can easily find the sugar-free brownies, but I've never actually tried that with this. But if I run out of these, then I would. But one of my friends that I work with, I don't know if y'all remember back a few months ago, she had bought like 4 or 5 boxes. That was all that was on the shelf for me. So I have 2 or 3 of these still in the cabinet. So I thought that would be a good dessert for Charlie and I. And then I'm just going to mix a Diet Dr. Pepper in there with it. And that is it. I pretty much will probably use this whole bottle. There might be just a tad bit left. I just kind of, you know, go by consistency, but sometimes I use all of it and sometimes I don't. I'm not sure why, but it just kind of depends. So I've got that, and then you're just going to need a bowl, your muffin tin. I'm going to spray it with the Pam baking spray so that they don't stick, and then I will just scoop it out with my handy dandy little ice cream scooper. So easy peasy, and we will cook them for about 15 minutes, I think, on 350. Is what I did the last time. And I know everybody hates this word, but these are very moist, so they're really good. I put my whole chocolate cake in there. Okay, so I have my whole chocolate cake in there. Now we're just going to add in the Diet Dr. Pepper. And again, I'm probably going to add like 3/4 of it. And this does take a little while to kind of stir and get it incorporated in there. But then it comes together nicely and it makes a perfect little cupcakes. Okay, yeah, I can tell I'm gonna need more of the Dr. Pepper because it's already feeling a little thick. Okay, so I did go ahead and use the whole Dr. Pepper, and I think that we have a pretty good consistency here. If you can see that. So that's it. I'm gonna get my muffin tin sprayed and we are gonna get it in there. Hopefully there's enough in here. This is getting a little low. Okay, I got my muffin tin ready. We are just going to divide into the 12 muffins. Okay guys, so there are the 12 muffins. We're going to go in for at least 15 minutes, 350 degrees. Again, it kind of depends on your oven. My oven cooks hot. I know that Roy loves it every time that I brag on how hot my oven cooks. But we'll see. Sometimes these have to stay in for 17 to 18 minutes, but I usually put them in for 15 and then go from there. Alrighty guys, here are my muffins fresh out of the oven. They are looking delicious. I've got a couple of really big ones over here. I did let it cook for 17 minutes. Like that one's actually kind of pretty soft in the middle still. May need to go back in, but I think it's going to be okay. Most of them feel pretty good. So we are just going to leave it like that, but again, totally worth this for 3 points, I think, per muffin. And they are delicious. Okay guys, we are going to work on the seasoned rice, and this is from Recipe Zaz, if you can see that. I've made this several times. I really like it. It's super simple. The recipe on here is basically to cook it on the stove top, but I just always put it in my rice cooker because it's easy and it turns out perfect every time. So what you are going to need, I'm going to do 1.5 cups of rice, so I already have that measured out. which I always keep my rice in this container here, but I did just have to open a new bag. This is the one that I like to use, this Mahatma, I guess that's the way you say it. You can get these big bags at Sam's Club, so I just opened that and emptied it in the container, and it still didn't fill it all the way up, but that will last for quite a while. So we need, I'm going to do 1.5 cups of rice to hopefully get about a cup for each of us, and then we will need 3 cups of liquid in there to go with it. So I'm just going to use this whole can of chicken broth and then the rest water. And then we will need half a teaspoon of poultry seasoning, need half a teaspoon of black pepper, which I'm just going to use the black pepper here in my little thing, and then some butter. It says 1.5 teaspoons of butter. I'm just going to spray some of my butter spray in there after I get it in, because this is 0 points. Otherwise it adds more points. So super easy. So let's just throw this in. And the thing I love about the rice cooker is it will just sit here and keep it warm until I get ready to use it. So if you don't have a rice cooker and you make a lot of rice like we do, I suggest investing in one. You can find a ton of them on Amazon. I'm not sure if I have one linked or not on there. This one I have had for so long, and I know that they do not make this model anymore. The ones they make now have many more functions, but I'm just going to use this one because I like it and it works until it stops working. So we're going to spray that just so we don't stick, and we're going to go in with our 1.5 cups of rice. And then let me get my chicken broth open. So the chicken broth is about 1 3/4 cups, and I need 3 cups of liquid because I have 1.5 cups of rice. So I'm going to go ahead and top that off. So now I have 2 cups of liquid, and then I will do 1 more cup of water. So there's my other cup of water. So now we have got our 3 cups of liquid in there. Now it says I need half a teaspoon of poultry seasoning. So we're going to go in with that. And then half a teaspoon of ground black pepper, or to taste. So I'll probably put in a little bit more than half a teaspoon. We'll just kind of do a heaping one, and maybe another little dab. You know we like things a little spicy. And then it says 1.5 teaspoons of butter or margarine. Again, I'm just going to use this. My battery's going to die again, so I'm just going to spray that a few times, and we're going to close her up, and we are going to turn it on to cook. I'm going to turn it to the side so that the steam, because steam does come out of this as it cooks, so it doesn't hit my cabinets. So that's good to go. Now we are going to get started on the ground turkey skillet bowls. Alright guys, I'm finally ready to get started on the ground turkey skillet with zucchini, corn, black beans, and tomato, which I need to get out my corn and black beans. Basically it calls for 1.5 pounds of lean ground turkey. I think the last time I did 2 pounds, but this time I only got 1 pound because I forgot about that. So we are just going to use 1 pound. It will be fine. And then I need to get out my tomato paste. And then we have a large diced tomato that Charlie has already diced up here for me. We have, it says 1.5 jalapenos. This was just a pretty large one that we diced up that we are going to use. I'm going to use some of the minced garlic that's in the jar that I have in the fridge. We've got a couple of zucchinis diced up here. We have a lime that we will squeeze over it, and I do suggest definitely using the lime. It does give it a good little flavor. And then we have some fresh cilantro here, and then it also calls for some salt and ground cumin. So here's my ground cumin, and then I'll just use my salt there. And I think that's about it. So we're going to get started cooking and get this bowl together real quick. The rice is going in the rice cooker, and then it'll be ready to put together. Here's my tomato paste. I just bought this little can. This is 69 cents because I really don't use tomato paste that often. And then a can of black beans. And then Charlie, I think, is grabbing me a can of corn as well. So let me get the canned items opened and ready to go. I think I need to... Do I need to drain and rinse? Yes. I will drain and rinse the beans and the corn. The corn you can use either frozen or a can, so I'm just going to go ahead and use a can of it. I'll drain and rinse those together and they will be ready. So let me get everything together and we'll get started. Alright, we are ready to get started. We're just going to spray our skillet with the olive oil spray, and then we're going to go in with a pack of 99% lean ground turkey. Her recipe calls for 93% lean, but I always just ignore that. I'm just going to break it up a little bit, and then it says to go ahead and season with a teaspoon of salt and some ground cumin. There's our salt. And you know, I'm going to put a heaping teaspoon of ground cumin. And then we will just let this cook up until it is browned or nice and white, not pink anymore. Okay, so the turkey is browned good enough, I think. Now it is cooked through. It says to push the meat to the side, add the onion and the tomato paste, and cook for a minute. So I'm not going to do that step because I don't have the onion to cook. So we're just going to go ahead and add in everything else. So we're going to add in the tomato paste, which it calls for 1.5 tablespoons of tomato paste. This is a half tablespoon, so we'll just do 3 heaping scoops of that. 2, 3. The garlic, it's calling for 1.5 garlic cloves. Is that right? Yeah, so we're just going to do like 2 teaspoons of this garlic. The minced garlic, I know I always use this. It's just so easy. And then we're going to go ahead and add in the black beans and the corn, which I have drained and rinsed those. They've just been sitting here waiting. And we're going to add in the diced tomato as well. And we're going to add in the jalapeno pepper. I'm going to cut the heat down. I always cook everything on high. Most people cook everything on medium, but I'm always in a hurry. I'm going to go ahead and add in the cilantro, and then it says 1/4 of a cup of water. It's about 1/4 of a cup of water. So we added beans, corn, tomatoes, jalapenos, cilantro, and 1/4 a cup of water. Now we're going to stir this up well. And I love cilantro. I know a lot of people don't, so if you don't, then you can just leave that out completely. Just like we usually always leave onion out of everything. So now I think we are ready to go ahead and add in the zucchini. And then we're going to cover it and cook it for 4 to 5 minutes until the zucchini is a little bit tender. It says tender crisp. So I'm just going to mix it up good, and then we will put the lid on. And we will be back in a few minutes to check on it. Alrighty, we are cooking away here. I think that the zucchini is getting close. It's kind of hard for me to tell, but one thing that I haven't done yet is put in the lime. Now it says to serve with a lime wedge, but what I've done the past couple of times that I've made it is just squeeze the lime directly into it, and it does give it a really good flavor. Kind of the same way that I do whenever I make the chicken enchiladas. It just gives it a nice little citrusy flavor. It's good. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then probably let it simmer for a couple more minutes, and then it will be ready. Of course, if you don't like lime, then you can totally leave this out, but this is a good refreshing meal. It's full of lots of veggies. It's one that's really good for summer. Okay, so I'm going to let it simmer for a few more minutes, and Charlie has already put the rice in the bowls. We just have like a cup of rice in each bowl, so this will be ready to plate up and we will be done. Alrighty guys, here is my finished bowl. Look how delicious that looks. Nice and fresh. Lots of veggies in there. Again, if beans and corn are 0 for you, then this should be a 0-point meal. I don't think anything really has any points value for myself personally, but I will of course have it linked down below. The rice I think is either 5 or 6 points per serving. I will have this recipe linked down below. I mean, it is just rice, but I did use, you know, the other things that I added in there with it. So I will of course be sure to include that. So we are going to go ahead and plate up. I am just going to eyeball it. Again, there is a cup of rice in each one of the containers, and then we can eat this with either plain or chips or whatever. I'm sure Charlie will eat it with chips. I will probably have a bag of my baked Tostitos with this. I'll be eating baked Tostitos like every day because I always eat it with the cauliflower rice as well, with the fajitas. But I need to eat them up because they're probably out of date. 72 bags lasts me a long, long time, and I don't want them to go stale.
We drove to New Jersey. Your eyes seen, I'll be worried. You said it was nothing, but I knew you'd get buried. The sorrow of us, the sorrow of us. How did we end up here? We used to
All right, here are the completed ground turkey, zucchini, corn, and black beans skillet bowls from Skinnytaste.com on top of a cup of seasoned rice. So these are looking and smelling delicious. Highly recommend this meal. We've made it 2 or 3 times. This is one of my favorites. If you want something super light, then you don't even have to use the rice. You could just eat it plain like it is, or you could use cauliflower rice as well. So since this is 0 points, I decided to go ahead and add in the jasmine rice with it this time. But again, always, modify everything to meet your needs. And I highly recommend this. I have never found a Skinnytaste recipe yet that I did not love. So these look beautiful and looking forward to eating them this week. Okay guys, so I have finally wrapped up today's meal prep. Overall, it was a pretty easy one. So down here we have the chicken fajitas, which is a really low point meal. I think that it comes out to about 1 point per meal. I will definitely eat this with my baked Tostitos each night, probably 2 bags, because we got a nice heaping portion of cauliflower rice there since I used up all of that old cauliflower rice that we had in the freezer. And then over here is another low point meal, especially if you exclude the jasmine rice that I made. This is the Ground Turkey Skillet Bowl from Skinnytaste, and I highly recommend this meal. It is super light and refreshing. Lots of veggies in there, ground turkey, really good. Again, it will be linked down below, and of course I will have the recipes from my WW app linked right below the recipes as well. And then here are the chocolate muffins. That is literally just a sugar-free chocolate cake mix and a diet Dr. Pepper, and they all turned out perfect. So super excited to have these this week. It is amazing to me how moist these are. I will definitely store these in the refrigerator and stuff in a container just to try to keep them fresh throughout the week, because otherwise they will tend to go bad if you leave them on the counter too long, I have found. So with just being me and Charlie, by the end of the week we may have a couple that need to go, but some of them are a little bit on the small side, so there might be a night or two Charlie has 2 of them. He won't mind that, I am sure. But overall, again, I have completed another successful meal prep. Okay guys, thank you so much for joining me for another Sunday meal prep video. Highly recommend both of these meals. They are so delicious, and definitely recommend these chocolate muffins. Such an easy, low point recipe to make. Nobody can go wrong with that one. We love it. And if you really want to make it high in points, you can do it like Charlie and slice it in half and slather some vanilla ice cream in there and cover it with some caramel syrup and all that stuff. That's what he does with it. I just put a little bit of my coconut Ready Whip on top. But overall, super pleased with these meals. This was actually a pretty easy meal prep for me today. We didn't pull the fruit and stuff back out that that Charlie prepped, just because it's not like in the little individual containers, but all of that is prepped as well. So super happy with this. Thank you all. Thanks to my Jennifer's Gems that always make it all the way to the end. I appreciate each and every one of you. And if you haven't yet subscribed, be sure to hit that red subscribe button down below and that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. And I will see you guys in the next video. I love y'all. Mwah.
All the things, all the places, I hope it means